Holy moly!
God, you showing us some of those moments in that last session. Crazy.
They're moments, all right. Don't worry. Hey, good news. We're playing Thursday. The dramatic conclusion to which our DM went. You might die, because we are currently separated. That's
Love that.
It always ends well. It always ends well.
And by we are separated, I mean our cleric is halfway across the fucking dungeon. For some
Oh
reason.
yeah, I forgot you guys are still doing that. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know why he's so far.
There's a third one.
I posted
Amber. There's a third one.
and I posted
To the top
in-
3.
To the top 3. My favorite Haikyuu season.
Me.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't exist.
Those are much different, so that's okay.
And then we got Haikyuu the last, the movies.
Why is that not going? That took a minute to go through. That scares me. I don't like that. So that should be good
That's
there.
my goat.
We have that up there. We should be all set. We should be all good and dandy. Welcome, everybody. The stream feels hollow without hollow. That's wild. Because I got rid of her on the main screen.
She's still here though.
In our hearts and souls.
In the podcast.
What? No. Hi, everybody.
Like-
Welcome to the Saber
like
Slay
she's still
podcast.
here, huh?
Anime- I mean, yes, correct. Welcome to the Anime Fray Saber Slay Spring 2024 seasonal podcast. It's week 6. It's complicated, but we're on it. We're talking episode 9s and 10s.
7.
Something like that. We're talking about episode 9s and 10s. It's technically 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And I think technically because of how that works, it's
Oh god,
technically...
episode 9's are part of this. I forgot.
Yeah, we don't. I'm not gonna make you have to really stress over what happened in your episode 9s. We're probably largely gonna talk about episode 10s because it's been an entire week since we've watched episode 9s. It's been an entire week since some of us have watched episode 10s.
Yeah.
Some of them, kind of, not quite.
For everything
But
but like
close.
Yada, yeah, it's been like a week.
Yeah.
Not quite, but yeah. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna hope Mason doesn't die.
I hope not.
Don't worry
it
about
seems to be
that.
decent.
Yeah. But before, so there's gonna be spoilers for episode 9s and 10s. I don't think that'll matter because most of these shows are done, if not about to be done for the season. So if
Yeah.
somehow you're gonna get spoiled from us talking about these 2 episodes, that's crazy. So instead what I'm gonna ask is that you don't fucking spoil us on what happens after episode 10. Because when this podcast episode is done, you won't believe this. We're gonna be finishing out the shows that make it in the top 3. Which, depending on which shows those are, we will define what that means, because there is a particular show that complicates that.
Yeah.
The simple answer is we go to episode 13,
Yeah.
probably for that show.
imagine.
Realistically, we go to 12 and we go, is that a good stopping point? If not, we watch 13, and if 13 isn't a good stopping point, oh well.
Sucks.
It sucks to suck, because that would be that would be our cutoff point.
Yep.
That's Spice and Wolf, if you're curious.
Yada as well.
Ri-
Yada's
right,
20
it
episodes.
It is 20. I forgot that is a small complication with that show. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a
Oh, yeah, I was
lot
gonna-
of
yeah.
sense.
How do
so,
we kick Sean off the...
You can't. That's the best part. In addition to that, there's gonna be some harsh language. We're gonna say fuck and shit and piss. Probably not that last one, actually.
Probably not.
Probably
I
don't
not.
see a
Unless
reason
one
we
of
would
us
say
has
that.
to go take a piss, in which case we
Yeah.
will say it.
Or like I'm pissed about something, but I don't see that happening.
Well,
Except for
there
me
is-
with my
there
Wi-Fi.
is a possibility. So with that in mind, we'll take a brief we'll take a brief detour to the Nonsense Zone. Hey everybody, it's the Nonsense Zone. Real quick, we'll try to keep these semi-brief. Things I have been doing. Since the last time we podcast, I had a very frustrating session of D&D that was also hilarious and fun. And if you're not following that campaign, oh boy, it's gonna be crazy if this Thursday I might actually sit down and do like a smash cut edit of the party meeting and then the party dying. That'd be crazy to do. I actually can't do that because we didn't stream episode 1. But you never, I could find ways. I could find parallels. It'd be good. D&D's fun. I also played a session of my 6-year-long campaign that I run, where the party progressed a little more. I got to experiment with some cool map stuff, and that session was very neat, and everyone had a good time. No one died over there. That's a little sad. Michael, fun thing happened in that session that you will understand. That party met Osmodius.
Oh shit.
The dude. To which they went, so where you gonna take that lance he picked up? Because he picked up a very powerful lance. And he goes, oh, I just have a date with my daughter. Don't mind me. I gotta get going. And everybody in the group went, do we know who his daughter is? And I went, make me a history check. And then they rolled pretty well on that. And I went, you know of a daughter. You assume he has more than one. And you assume the one you know of is not the one he's going to go see, because they're not on the best of terms. Meanwhile, Vinny is screaming, and he goes, Sean, is there a pink tiefling hiding about in this room? I went, God, no, I hope not. That would be crazy. So, Michael, whenever we get back to playing that campaign, if Vinny has a mild aneurysm at some point because Osmodius shows back up with a lance, you know why. Things happen. Connected timelines. I have started reading, I want to get the name of it right for the viewer's sake. Shiba Inu Rooms.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very good. Everyone should read it. It's adorable.
So good.
I'm very glad that I immediately went, everyone, read this. Read this now.
It's very good.
I mean, I see girl and a dog, and already. Good start.
Other quick things to talk about. Chainsaw Man's bad shit insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting a Jujutsu Kaisen chapter in 12 hours.
It's been a minute.
We're getting
Yeah.
a chapter. Smile.
Smile.
If you know,
Here's
you know.
hoping it's-
If you know, you know. Michael knows.
Here's hoping it's more than 9 pages.
Smile.
Smile.
Maybe.
Smile.
We don't know. Maybe. In addition to that, because everybody else has, well, the exception of John, but he will cave because it's absolutely a thing he should be reading.
Yes.
I've started reading Marriage Toxin because that's what all the cool kids are doing these days. I just finished chapter 38. Hey Michael, is the site I'm reading on broken now? Did it break today?
That happens sometimes.
My solution is I just
happens.
go into the web address and I just replace the number, and it takes me to the next. It takes me to the
There's
right
a
chapter.
non-zero chance that happened. It did happen a bit ago that this site got taken down for a bit.
I mean, it just won't let me go to the next chapter from the chapter I'm on. It takes me back to the main page, and it doesn't let me go into a new chapter. So I just, like I said, I just edit the URL
Yeah,
by the
that's,
chapter number.
that worked.
Because fun fact, Viz Shonen Jump does not have all of Marriage Toxin on there.
Oh yeah, I guess
So
it did.
it's 15 chapters of it out of the 94 that
Yeah,
are currently
I
out.
wasn't sure if it broke or if my work Wi-Fi was bad.
No, the site might just be
Cool.
being silly at
Scuffed.
the moment.
Fun.
Fun.
May be dead.
That's a really fun and really great manga. I'm enjoying it greatly. A character is shown back up where I am at, and I did not realize that character was a woman until
Yeah.
literally right then. Right then, I was like,
That's it.
oh,
Yep.
I didn't
I
know
didn't realize
that.
that. I didn't realize that initially either until they showed back up again.
Yeah, crazy. Hamper.
Hamster.
Other than that, I finished my book that I was reading, the first of 3 of the first trilogy, and then I'll have to get into the second trilogy. They pull a wild fucking thing at the end of that book, or close to the end of that book, where a character has like a moment of being a human being after not being a human being for like the entire 400 pages prior. At which point the story loops around and is like, yeah, you and I, remember that other guy we used to hang out with? And the character goes, yeah, sure do. Meanwhile, it's the first character in the book he fucking tortures. A crazy set of events, which really makes the opening hit. That's literally like his first chapter, and it really makes that opening chapter hit a little different when you consider the fact that the guy he is torturing goes, we used to be good old friends. And you just assume that's a thing everybody says to everybody when they're being tortured, and they are somewhat acquaintances. That book's good. I really like it. That's The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I don't think I've done anything else of note.
Where's Joe Fitch?
I bought a lot of games. Thanks, Summer Sale. I haven't played any of them, but I bought a lot of them.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I haven't bought any yet, but
yeah. But that I think that's it for me. Oh, I have to shout out somebody from work, and I also have to explain this. So my buddy, I got my grilled cheese today, Michael.
Let's go.
So you have to understand that this man has promised me grilled cheese for 3 months now, and that's a rough estimate. Where he was like, I'm probably gonna leave. He's like,
for 3 months?
he's like, I'm probably gonna be leaving the company soon to go work and do a new job. And how he started this was, what do you like to eat? And I went, why? And he went, just tell me what you like to eat. Like, if you could eat anything, what would you want to eat? And I was like, I don't like this question, because if I say a steak dinner, are you going to bring me a steak dinner to work? I don't want that. So I said, I'm always a big fan of grilled cheese and tomato soup. And he said, okay, come to work hungry. 3 months of me coming to work hungry later.
Incredible.
No, so how this story first starts, and there is a reason I want to tell the whole thing, is because I get a message one night where he goes, Sean, if cheese goes bad, and only part of it visibly looks like it's gone bad, if you cut off that part, is the rest of the cheese good? And I went, don't you dare make my grilled cheese with that.
The answer is the rest of it is bad.
Yes,
Yes.
which he found out,
Cheese works.
which he found out because he ate it. He made grilled cheese as a test run and ate it, and it was not good. But he told me, he's like, don't worry, I would never serve you anything that could kill you. I live by Sanji's creed, because he is my One Piece buddy. And then earlier this week, last week, he goes, Sean, come to work hungry. And I go, okay, I've been doing that for a while now. I do it every day.
I've been pretty hungry.
And Tuesday, I get ready to go to lunch, so I'm in my car, I'm about to go drive somewhere to eat, and I see a text message that goes, are you at work? And I go, do you want me to go back in the building? And he goes, don't. He goes, I may have made a miscalculation. I went, what? And he goes, I don't have tomatoes. And I went, that is a problem. And so and he goes, come to work Friday and Saturday hungry. I mean it. I come to work Friday. I'm working, and I get a Discord notification. I open it, and he sends me the SpongeBob gift that goes, tomorrow, maybe, the next day, eventually. And I scream, and I go, my grilled cheese! I just want my grilled cheese. And so I'm working today, and I'm talking to a coworker, and I go, the only thing that's going to make my day worse today is if Sakif shows up, and he doesn't bring me my fucking grilled cheese. Because he told me yesterday that he was going to have it. And he comes in, and I look at him, and he has his bag. He has, like, his quick sports tie bag, and nothing. And I go, motherfucker. And he looks at me, he goes, what, Sean? He goes, are you expecting something? And I went, yeah, a little. And he went, don't worry. And he opened it up, and he pulled out a container of tomato soup and a wrapped grilled cheese sandwich. And so I go to my lunch. It's very good. The downside, it's an entire container, like this big, of tomato soup. He made me one grilled cheese sandwich.
I think the funniest thing that could have happened is it not being good at the end of it.
It was good. It was very good. the grilled cheese was a good grilled cheese. I had to heat it because the cheese wasn't fully melted, but he gave me that heads up ahead of time, so I just microwaved it a little bit, and it was a perfectly good grilled cheese. The soup was incredible. For context, if you can't tell from his name, Sakif is not white, and why this is important is because I take a bite, I dip the grilled cheese in, I take a bite, and I go, whew, that's a little spicy for me. But it's fine. It was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was not. It was like actual tomatoes. He made it out of. He like
wow.
he like fucking
Like
did those. He
homemade.
went he homemade. Very good. So what I did for my lunch, where I watched Spice and Wolf, was I also went to Dunkin' Donuts after I finished my one grilled cheese sandwich. I ordered 2 of theirs because I wanted more of his tomato soup. and that was a good time. So it was very good. So thank you very much, Sakif. I wanted to share that because boy was that a fucking journey. And then also I got to piss off my one coworker because she's known him much longer than I have, and her fiance is like best friends with him. And so he walks in, he gives me this, she comes back from her break, and I go, hey, guess what? Guess who got grilled cheese? And she goes, motherfucker, he's been promising me food for like years. And I went, that's a personal problem.
You are
Take that up
not
with them.
enough to make
So
that grilled cheese.
We spent the next 2 hours. We spent the next hour of my shift on my way to, wasting my time to get to lunch about us debating whether or not he's a good friend. And I went, he's a great friend to me. Sounds like you got another problem to sort out.
Sounds like
And
you guys have issues. He's my friend.
she was like, this isn't fair. I'm supposed to be his favorite. And I went, yeah, but one of us has grilled cheese and the other one
But one of us
doesn't.
is.
So what does that say? So it was a wonderful time. What have you guys been up to?
I've
Besides
read a lot
dying,
of-
Mason.
Yeah, I've had a lot of manga that I've read in this past week because I can read it on my phone, and as we've stated, my Wi-Fi has been shitting the bed the past week, out of nowhere, really too. Like there wasn't like a surge or anything. There wasn't like I hit my Wi-Fi out or anything. No, it just stopped wanting to work as well. So I have read all of what's currently out of Marriage Toxin. I read what's currently out of Shiba Inu Rooms, where there's 3 chapters currently.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm gonna get better.
There is I started Shoha Shoten on Michael's recommendation as well. This week or today, that manga is really good. And then a special one for me is one of the mangas that I have is a comfort manga at this point to me. Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, or there's a whole bunch of different names that it has, but that is a manga that has, up until a couple months ago, I was reading it and it only had 28 chapters out of it or something like that, and it wasn't looking good for it getting localized anymore and translated. I happened to click on my my link that I have for it to just check on it, and it has 39 chapters now, so I've read half of those. That manga is very good. It's very cute. I also beat Signalis the other day. I beat that on 4th of July because, funny story. So I am a known Final Fantasy XIV player, and I've been playing through Dawn Trail. And with the issues that I've had with my Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi was stable, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try and get through a little bit more. The first trial of Dawn Trail, I get into it, we wipe once, we get a little bit farther, we wipe again, and on the 3rd try, we're looking like we're about to beat it. We got it down to 12%, everyone's still alive, and my internet dies. So I got very frustrated and just went, fine, I'm playing a single-player game, and I'm not letting my Wi-Fi detract from it. And I proceeded to play all of Signalis. I have I got what I've seen to be is the good ending, as good as it can be in that game, because that game is sad and a bit depressing, but it's very, very good. Very gay as well. We love that. Aside from that, there have been some personal things that I'm not really going to go into that have been a little rough, but overall, like, I got a lot of manga reading done. So I also started AI the Somnium Files. I've gotten through the first little section of it. I love all the characters that I've met so far already in that. It is wild.
It's a new Yoshi cast. They're all
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
You know what's,
it
really
is.
wild, Mason? Is that
You're gonna make the different 50-50 at the beginning, get a completely different game than Sean did.
and then you're gonna start talking about something and be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
There's a
I'm gonna have to see your flow chart to see if you guys can even speak about the game.
there's a 50. Oh god.
Michael,
There's a lot.
I-
So yeah,
I
so
was
every time
basic-
you make choices, it's like so you make a choice in this thing and it splits the branch into two places.
Fair.
And early on, Sean makes one, and if you make the other choice, you just get a different game for your first major 5 run-throughs.
it is my
And you're
Wild.
picking
understanding.
up one branch.
It is my understanding that I was very close to finishing the branch I was on, according to
Yeah,
Michael. He
Sean was legitimately like 30 minutes from finishing his branch from what he could have at the moment.
the
Right,
branch
like
I
the
picked. The
entire
branch I
one branch
picked, crazy thing to experience, and also absolutely wonderful. I'm very glad it's what I went down.
I think I want Mason to pick the other branch because I want to see someone experience the game the other order. Because
But-
I think the game is very much built to do it the way Sean did. Like, Sean's order feels like the correct way. Because he did it slightly different from me, because I made a different 50-50 at one point. Because it was before I understood how the 50-50s worked.
Hmm.
So I didn't, like, understand that certain things caused branches. Because, like, and once you understand it, it's like, oh, very clear, this event causes the branch here.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't expect it to have a branching storyline
And there you go,
with
baby.
with it being Ushikoshi, but
Sorry.
The guy.
yeah, it is wild to me the jump in quality from ZTD to that game. Like, ZTD is not like, it's a solid game. It has some like, it looks weird at some points, but it's a game made in what, 2014 or something like that. Like, it's understandable.
It came
Something
out
like
on
that.
the 3DS.
Yes, which fair. Like, it came out on the 3DS. It's not going to look the best.
2016, actually.
2016.
Yeah,
It's-
was it 3DS? Because I know it was VLR was 3DS.
Yeah, ZTD was also 3DS. I know that one. I don't know if it was Vita as well, but
3DS, Vita, PC, and then eventually PS4 and Xbox One.
fair.
It came out on the Xbox One in 2022. That's hilarious.
Wild.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
Calendar year 2020.
the jump, though, in how good that game
Yeah,
looks is
insane.
insane.
It-
It looks so good.
So here's something I want to talk about real quick. Small tangent. Mason,
Mhm.
does the game and it could just be that there are slightly similar themes to it. Boy, does playing that game immediately give me very similar feelings to playing through Cyber Sleuth. Like,
So-
aesthetically, things are very similar in like areas and structures.
Weirdly, that's not what it made me think of when I initially got into that game. What it made me think of was Deadly Premonition.
Fair.
Like, to me, that just like that was the immediate takeaway from that, from the little bit that I got of it, was, oh, this like has the same like game structure as Deadly Premonition that as this.
I'm not gonna lie, I might just cave and buy that on Game Pass again. Just buy it on Xbox so that I could just pick back up from where I was. I bought it on Steam already. It's just
Fair. It's not where you were playing it initially.
yeah, and I can't guarantee I'm gonna go down it the same way, and I kind of want to finish where I was.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know what choices you hadn't done, or I mean, I don't remember exactly what order of choices you did, because there's a few that I'm not, like, super sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. Oh, I watched a bit of the new season of Demon Slayer as well. I watched the first 2 episodes, I think.
Was it just
Um,
Demon Slayer?
It's more Demon Slayer. It's fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
Has anyone on this podcast read Demon Slayer?
Nope.
So it is my understanding, John, is that a yes and you're just not talking, or no,
No,
you
I
also
haven't.
haven't? It is my understanding that where
haven't
this
watched
season
it.
ends, if you didn't know, the next adaptation we're getting is 3 movies.
Huh?
There's like 1 arc left.
Yeah.
They could
That's
just
great.
they could just do a season.
Well, so that's the
you're
thing.
Yeah, they're
The-
doing a
the thing-
trilogy of movies, Michael.
No, my brain's just like they're adapting this shit really fast. It feels like in terms of episode count.
I mean,
Maybe.
Hashira Training is, I think, 12 or 13, and it was also a movie. It's one of those things where it's kind of just like, I wonder if they should have just done it as fully movies to begin with, considering that's what they've done for 90% of what they've given us.
It's just odd because it makes me think of Haikyuu, where Haikyuu was like, we're gonna do movies, 2 movies to finish it out, and I'm like, is that just a new thing? Where we're gonna finish out popular manga series that are done by doing movies?
I mean, it's
I don't-
guaranteed money back instead of having sales
But
for
the,
like
the show
TVs and
looks
stuff.
good enough that you don't need to do a movie. Like that used to be why you did
could be-
movies, was that you
It
wanted
could
the
be a
quality to
duration-based
be
thing
good.
too.
Yeah.
Duration-based thing too.
Yeah.
Like, they don't
I
have
mean,
quite enough.
3
for
movies
a
is
season.
insane.
Part of it is also like, they make a shit ton of money off ticket sales for those movies.
Yeah.
Like John was
Yeah.
saying, like the amount of people that went to go see Mugen Train and Hashira Training Arc in theaters, like it's wild. So, I don't think I've done anything else. I'm probably going to the labor board about my job once I leave, but that's a different story. Because that's a thing. But yeah, I think that's it.
We here on the Saber Slate podcast are pro-union.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, okay? Sorry if I went too far for you,
bro.
Mr. Healthcare
Okay.
worker.
So,
Actually,
yeah,
we have a place at my work. We do also have unions.
So, some things I've done. So Mason mentioned it. Shoha Shoten. I started that like 2 days ago. I got through all 31 of its current chapters in like a day and a little bit. And you may think
That's a
31
lot of
chapters. That's not a
chapters.
lot of chapters. This is a monthly release. This is 2.5 years of content.
Yeah, he said,
every-
I found out it was monthly. I went, maybe I won't read it yet.
The pain that is waiting for this next chapter, because I know we're still 3 chapters out from like the next major thing happening.
As someone who's caught up with Spy Family, I feel that.
I
But
need to do
Family's
that
also
at
like
some
shorter
point.
chapters. That isn't like a monthly 50 chapter release or 50-page release.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've really done manga wise. I think probably I don't know. Maybe there's another manga I read that I don't remember
Did you
reading.
catch up on Marriage Talks, or were you caught up?
I was like 2 chapters behind, but yeah, I did catch up. Oh, I finished Kuroko since we last talked. It's been that long. Yeah, I finished the last like 30-ish chapters of Kuroko. That ending just kind of happens. It's so crazy. It's like, yeah, we get through the final game and oh, it's over now. Because like the anime has like a whole episode that's like setting up like, and these people are like the new siblings on this team and the new siblings on this team, and like stuff like that. It's like, oh wow, but I mean the anime never continues except for getting a movie, but that movie's just the Gen of Miracles fighting against America.
Man,
But that movie was
Last
baller.
game's a sick movie. But yeah, gaming wise, I played a lot more. I played a bit. No, I played a decent amount more. Needy Streamer Overload.
Michael went
I started-
to spreadsheet mode.
Yeah. So some of the endings in this game require very, very specific conditions.
From which they spreadsheets.
Because like some of the endings are beat the game having like they're like, oh, having these exact stats and like certain things, and that's a lot of very minor differences, and I'm not going to test all of by myself when it's a really long time to get to the end of a game.
Yeah.
Other ones are like, get the affection meter to 0, get this meter to 0, get this meter to 100, keep it at 100, then bump it to the next maximum it jumps up to after certain events happen. Those you can kind of guess to do. So yeah, I did spreadsheet out the rest of some of the ending. I have 7 left. 4 of them are literally have your followers at a kind of small amount, and then of Affection and Darkness above and below 60 right at the end of the game. So it's literally just I need to get a run where they're at that around that point, and then just last 2 days flip those around, do some funny things. Yeah. So when I pretty sure last time I mentioned, I had already I had only gone down some of the like more nicer endings in quotation marks. Then I started going down the funny routes where you go, okay, now we're gonna let Ame take drugs. I don't play horror games. I have never been more terrified staring at my screen as when you take the 5th drug in that game.
Hey, George.
It is. It's crazy. I've explained it to what happens is that the game, because the game's in like this like super pixelated style, and once you take it, it just plays real life video footage.
God.
And there's something about it showing that makes me always scared something's gonna fucking pop up. Nothing ever does, but it's always there. You're always thinking, maybe. It's terrifying. And then I also did the high stress events. That's an ending. I don't remember exactly what that one's called. Oh, but that ending's crazy. Oh, I do actually have. Okay, that one's just called Internet Overdose. Okay, yeah. So you have Bomber Girl and Internet Overdose, which are just 2 different, very high stress things. Those are crazy. There's one where you go on the Galactic Express, which requires you to get to the end of the game, do a certain set of streams, and then take drugs, and then go on a train that she's imagining existing. Yeah, this game's crazy. So yeah, I played a bit of that. I downloaded Elden Ring. I bought that game. Yeah. Elden Ring's a cool game. I'm bad at it.
There's a co-op mod for it.
Yeah, I do want to play the game solo at least first.
For sure.
But yeah, Elden Ring's a cool game, I think. I'm not good at Souls games. I know I'm bad at them. That's why it took me this long to get the game.
Same.
And this is after like
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, the game's really cool. This is like after the DLC and stuff's out. Oh, but yeah, I'm like 4 hours into that game. I've beaten a single boss. I've beaten Tree Sentinel. Because I bashed my head against that guy for a while. I got Tekken 8. I played that with a friend for like 3 hours.
Based.
Tekken 8's sick. I'm terrible at Tekken. Tekken's a difficult game.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
He reloaded up Tekken like 3 times in club, and oof, not for me.
Yeah.
My
I-
brain
Because
too
I
small.
hadn't picked a main yet. I was just like going through characters. That's not a thing you can do in Tekken. Every character plays so different from each other. That's just not a thing you're allowed to do.
Yeah, you have to figure out a character. You have to just pick a character and stick with it for like a year.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is that I'm terrible at doing that in fighting games, as Sean can attest to. Every tournament we had at college, I had a different main in Smash.
Or
Every
he
single
just-
one I
Or
ran.
he
into-
just played random.
I don't think I ever picked random at a tournament. Probably. But
Maybe.
yeah, because yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna go into what character I play as too much. But
Go
yeah, yeah, I played a lot of them. And each one straight up was just like a different character.
Completely. Wild. I hated playing him.
He says.
And so the last thing I've done, I started a funny game came out on the 4th
I hate this because I
by-
might get it.
by a silly little company
Blooded
you may have heard of called Hoyoverse. That's
Oh,
right.
no.
I started playing Zenless Zone Zero. This game is fucking sick. I love this game so much. The character designs are sick.
I
The
want
story's
you-
just fun.
Mason, I want you to know that Michael showed me the cast and he's going through the characters. He goes, "This is my wife. This is also my wife. No, this one's really my wife." And he gets to the Wolfman. He goes, "This is you."
Von Lycaon is just like the most Sean character ever.
Oh, he's not wrong.
Michael and I were in a call. I think it was last night, and he's just sitting there going, Mason, you need to look at this game
Yeah.
because this just fits the aesthetic that I know you enjoy, and I love it too. I went,
Yeah. My understanding.
I'll do it again.
My understanding is it is not an intricate and super in-depth action RPG or action game. And if you thought
No,
it's gonna
it's not like fucking DMC levels of
No.
buttons. But yeah, it has like your Hoyoverse team building. Oh, yeah, like a big part of the game still is like the Hoyoverse team building, but there's a lot more like you have a lot more you can do as a player that isn't click a button and pray your team was built correctly to go into it.
Yeah.
Because when you're in Genshin's just a numbers game, anything past like adventure rank 20. And it's just, do you have big enough numbers to kill this enemy? While this game, it's can you time your parries on the enemies off screen because you have to listen for their sound cues, because they're just off camera. And when you start like getting in the groove, start doing a bunch of like parry counters and shit, it's so fucking rad. This game's so cool. But yeah, this game's very fun. The entire cast is wonderful. People who say the story's bad are wrong. And this game has my favorite Hoyoverse a gimmick, which is you get both the male and the female protag as characters in the story, which is rad because they are siblings and they are wonderful and they have such a great dynamic between each other. And the entire rest of the cast is also wonderful. All the character design's great, voice acting's wonderful. Story's just fun. It's just fun time. Also, you have a fucking like Monster Hunter level of person cooking food and a sick ass cutscene because you have a ramen shop near you that you can use to get buffs. And he's a sick ass animation when he makes ramen for you.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
I've been up to a couple things.
You have been.
Just a little bit, just small
Just a
things.
few.
So, as you can see, I have a new setting. This is my new house setup. I'm downstairs. This is my downstairs. It looks nice. There's a little cubby there that we painted.
There is no body.
The walls are already painted. It's great. And there's no body in the back room. Don't worry about it. There's a fiance over there. It's pretty great. She can't hear me, though, because she chooses to ignore me with her headphones on. But that's fine. But yeah, I moved in yesterday. I'm dead inside, but it worked out. What else happened? Oh, I went to the AJR concert, by the way, in Detroit.
How was it?
Fucking
Incredible.
amazing.
God,
Absolutely
dude,
incredible,
I want to
dude.
go to one of their shows so bad.
Is there none near you left in the tour? I would highly recommend looking into it because it was fucking amazing. That's all I'll say about it. I don't want to spoil stuff about the show and stuff, but it was super
I've
awesome.
seen some of like the stuff they put out for their older tours where they do a lot of their live production stuff, and it's
They put a lot of that.
fucking cool.
They have the vlogs going on right now, dude. The show's super cool. It's an arena tour, so like the sound is so amazing because everybody there knows the songs because it's an arena tour. There was a sold out crowd of 13,000 at LCA, which is a lot of people, and we were on floor seats, which is fun.
Ooh.
So that sound really reverberates, but yeah, it was really cool. What's nice about big arenas too is like at the end of the concert you can still hear if you're not like right in the front row, so it's great. Had a good time. Went with Amber and two friends, Noah and Grace, were actually just like 2 seats away from us, so we actually sat next to them at the concert, which was funny.
Nice.
And not planned. I finished Renegade Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke, barely. Got a little bailed, but we did that, and then I decided, hey, I don't like having fun, so I'm gonna come and play Run and Bun now, and so I'm doing that now too. That's been fun so far, but it is incredibly challenging, and I'm probably gonna wipe to Roxanne tonight, but that's okay because it's still fun to do. I like all the encounters and stuff. Great. But yeah, I've been busy, and now I'm just job hunting for a new job in this area because I moved about an hour from where I usually live. So, fun times. Yeah, can't recommend AJR enough. Go to a concert if you get a chance to. They're super cool. God, they're so fucking awesome.
With that in mind, that's gonna be first up. Before that, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time for the power ranking.
Oh boy.
So, fun little thing I got for us. The power ranking for this week and last week are gonna be on screen, so you can see the slight differences. If you can't tell from the handy dandy guide I have here on screen, the power ranking up top is the power ranking from last week. The power ranking below is the power ranking from this week. So these are, episode 9s and 10s probably taken into account, because I don't know how many people just did it based on episode 10. I did, because I have the one from last week and I knew I was doing this. No one else knew I was doing this, so, but this just shows you a little bit of how really more so how episode 10's maybe had affected decisions here. It is crazy we have no bolds this week. We
Yeah,
did
that's
last
wild.
week. We have. I mean, I'm not super surprised by this.
Wait, Spice Wolf wasn't my 5. That's wrong.
It absolutely was.
What?
Oh, John and I are supposed to have the exact same power ranking.
You are
No,
correct.
mine's
How did
definitely
I-
not.
You are correct. How did I fuck that up?
Sean always messes mine up, but I don't know why.
Never. So
It's fine.
It's fine. So just swap Girls Band Cry and Spice and Wolf for John. Hold on. Now I'm making sure. Hold on. I'm making sure. Yeah. This. Otherwise,
Yeah.
correct. I mean, it doesn't change anything besides position, which I will need to. Don't mind me. I'm gonna go correct that on my end right now. How did I do that? I had it right on your document. I just didn't copy it right.
That's even funnier.
I have it right. Like it is properly in the slate. That's crazy. What the fuck did I do? That's wild. Yeah. Don't mind that. Don't worry about that. No one mind anything that's going on right now. Nothing funky is going on in this house. But yeah, let's we can get into this. Michael, you're gonna kick us off.
Yeah.
With Girls Band Cry.
So episode
There you
9,
go.
I'll
It's
go.
fixed now.
Yeah. So episode 9 of Girls Band Cry is a very Tomo focused episode. Yeah, episode 9 is Tomo not wanting to speak up. Yeah. That's
Yep.
that one. Yeah, so episode 9 focuses mainly on Tomo and how we learn how Benny Shoga, which is their group, how why there's only 2 of them, why the other 2 are crossed off on the thing, and like what happened to the rest of their group, which is that Tomo is really like into music. She wanted to go pro, and Rupa was with her on that, and the 2 people they got off of the internet were not. They were not nearly at the same level of commitment, and Tomo was kind of an ass about getting them to practice. Because there's going, hey, you should practice, and going, you're fucking terrible. What do you think you're doing? Stop trying to play guitar if you're not gonna play it like you mean it. But yeah, Tomo's a bit of an ass, and rightfully the other members leave. And so most of episode 9 essentially focuses on going, the rest of this group, Rupa doesn't say directly, but like, they're on the same level of commitment you have. I don't think you realize these 3 are committed to this right now. These 3 are gonna go for it. Because episode 9's also, Nina trying to learn the acoustic guitar. She wants to play the guitar on stage with Momo. She wants to help her. She wants to be more than just a singer on stage. And that's a nice thing. So yeah, so this entire episode builds up to Tomo finally going, you guys suck. Let's make the song better. And Momika goes, sick. Thank you. Someone spoke up about it. And also Nina and Tomo have a really big, like, they have a good moment on on the riverbed where Nina's practicing for like the 17th time that episode. And Tomo just goes, you suck. But like, you're trying. You still suck though. Because yeah, Nina learned how to start playing guitar like 3 days before that. She's not very good at it. Episode 10, family drama time. So most of episode 10, because in episode 8, I think it was, it was episode 8, Nina sends a message back home going, I want to be independent. Episode 10 is the fallout from that, where her dad, or her whole family's now trying to go talk to her about it and going, hey, that's a bit much to try to do that. And so she avoids them. Episode 9 and 8, episode 9 also has a lot of like, a lot of air conditioners are broken. I think that's episode 9's thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes, they go around with a lot of air conditioners. They also use the snake in episode 9 as like a metaphor for Tomo breaking out of her shell and stuff, and like that's a real nice thing they did with the snake. That like, yeah. But So she's trying to hide from her family. She doesn't want to interact with them because she's scared that her dad's gonna do dad things. And seeing her mom means her dad's there. But yeah, so she eventually has a little like thing with like Rupa and them. Goes, hey, she goes, I don't want to. Like Rupa goes, you should go talk to them because it's gonna weigh on you too much. You have to do that. Also, we learned part of Rupa's backstory because we didn't know Rupa's thing from like 2-ish episodes ago. Tomo mentions that she lost her family in a car accident. Things that mentioned in episode 8, or so it's mentioned before this. I don't remember exactly when, but Tomo mentions it. And then Rupa goes, we have this fucking crazy hard hitting bit from Rupa where she's like, yeah, that night I thought I was gonna call them later in the night. I kind of waited till later. I never got that later. And then immediately hits Nina and she goes, okay, I'll go talk to them now because you never know. You never want to be left off. You never want to be left regretting things. So then Nina goes back home. She's talking to her. She goes back to her parents' house, and they have this whole big thing where she's like, I want to be in a band. And her dad's like, you're a fucking idiot. That's a stupid dream to go for. You told me you were gonna go for college. And it's like, you know what is fair? She could promise that. He's not entirely in the wrong here. So they have that whole little thing. And then we also see the dad smoking a shit ton. That is a full-ass ashtray. That's crazy.
That's my favorite levels of smoking.
But yeah, so we get through that, and then her dad goes, or did they kind of like she's a little talk with like her sister about stuff or whatever, and then her dad goes, okay, we're gonna go somewhere tomorrow. I want you to come with. She goes, okay. So they go to the school. They get a apology letter from the school going, hey, yeah, we fucked up. We investigated after the person confessed. We're really sorry we dealt with that the way we did.
Please don't sue our school.
Please don't sue us.
Like, please don't sue us.
But yeah, we get some of that. Nina's still not happy about that because she's still just mad that her dad wanted to, instead of taking her side, wanted to take whatever route led to less stress on him, because like actually like pressing charges would have led to a lot of extra. He didn't want that. So Nina's still mad about that. But they go back home. She has another. No, this is when she has to talk with her sister. She has to talk with her sister. She's like, I really want to go for this. The sister's like, they're just worried. They're still your parents. Every parent worries about their child. That's just the thing parents do. They may not act like it, because he may be hard on you. That's because he wants to see you do the best you can. And then you need some super spicy curry. We also get another hard-hitting line from the sister with the thank you for being alive. Which, ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Ouchies.
Bones.
And she's like going to leave, and she hears her dad listening to Void in the other room. And she's like, oh, you probably hate the song. He's like, no, it's a good song. If you like this song, I'll like this song. And then Nina says, and Nina hits him with a maybe stop smoking as much. It's a nice little comment from that. Nina goes to leave. Her parents go, hey, wait a second. She gives them a hug. She goes, please watch my concert. They go, bet, we will. And then when she runs off, she's all happy. Well, she's crying like a shit ton, but like she happy. She gets on the train. She finishes writing the lyrics of the song. I forgot that's also a plot point of this episode. It's like she's writing the lyrics for their next song, which I'll give the name of if we end up talking about episode 11 of this.
What? Why do you think we won't?
I don't know, man.
We have conversations to have.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
But yeah, and she meets up with the band back in Tokyo or wherever this train station is, because she falls asleep on the train again, like in episode 1, and it's up at the same train station. She ended up in episode 1, and it's a nice little reunion to the group, and it's adorable.
I assume they're at the same place she performed the first time with Momoka.
Yeah, it's like very clearly the same wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 9 was fine. I liked a lot of stuff with Tomo in episode 9.
Yeah.
I think episode was great. That was a good one. I fucking loved episode 10. I think her whole thing with her family was so well done. It's so good. I love this show. Hey, you guys know that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good pair of episodes for the show. It's not my favorite show on the podcast that we have, like as reasons I said before, but I mean I thought it was really good. The second episode 10 really did hit hard with the scene with the family, Family Guy, sim. But no, yeah, it's a good show. This show did a lot more than I expected from it this season, so I'm not mad if it ends up in top 3 either.
Yeah, that's so for me. The reason why it's so low is just because like I think the other episode or like the other shows did have better episodes. It's not that I don't like this show because I do really like this show, way more than I thought I ever would. It's just like episode 9 was not the best compared to the other shows. I think episode 10, while being really good, overall, I like the direction the other shows are going for. And that's why it's at the bottom of my list. Is I think Spice and Wolf had really, really good past 2 episodes. Yada had really good past 2 episodes, and then Windbreaker and Kaiju are Windbreaker and Kaiju. So
Competition is thick.
yeah,
Right, this is a really good set of shows.
So, this is where we're gonna get fun. I really I agree with Michael. I don't think that episode 9 in particular was anything too special. Yeah. I was just double checking to make sure I was right. Yeah. I mean, I had Windbreaker, I had Kaiju above it. And it was I still really liked the episode. Episode 10 for this, however, I thought was incredible. There's a lot of stuff going on in this episode that I like, small detail-wise, that shows a lot about the family. The cutting of the tree branch. Because she comes home, whacks her head on the branch, goes to enter the door, and hesitates, and her family comes up behind her, which means they saw her whack her fucking head on the tree branch, and so before she leaves, they cut it, so she doesn't fucking run into it again like a dingus, and I fucking love that. That's adorable. That's great.
That's good.
I appreciate, to me, the scene at the school is both, yes, Nina, like, it is both showing, yes, Nina's problem isn't that the bullying wasn't recognized, that her dad didn't side with her. But to me, it's also her recognizing that. Because Momoka's the one who points it out to her. Momoka's the one who calls her out and is like, I don't think you're mad about the bullying. I don't think you're necessarily mad that it happened and that things went the way it did. The only thing that's really still eating at you is that your dad didn't just side with you to side with you because you're his daughter, and that's what he should have done, was just side with his daughter. And when she gets there, it's one of those things where it's like, you get there, you get what you thought you wanted, but you realize, no, that's not what I actually wanted. Like, everything still went in a decent direction for her after the bullying incident. She still wound up on a path that she actually enjoys being on in her life. So clearly the hang-up there is the stuff with her father. And so I really enjoyed that scene as well. I really like this show a lot. I can't say a lot more else in terms of points in its favor over other shows until we talk about the other shows. Because the big hit for me is that Girls Bear and Cry has had higher highs than Yada and Spice and Wolf for me. And both of those shows are absolutely more slow burn setup shows. And while they are both getting the places I really like and really enjoy, I'm going to talk about Yada when I talk about Yada this week, because that is by far the most interesting show for me to talk about. And while I really, really liked Spice and Wolf this week, especially with the fact that it basically resolved every problem I had with it the week prior, it to me is just a matter of overall content and opinion. I like Girls Bear and Cry better than those two shows. I think it has stuck its mark better than those two had over the course of the season for me.
Sure.
fair.
It's Windbreaker time.
Let's
I
go.
had to check to make sure.
Yeah, should be.
Yep.
So Windbreaker this week. So episode 9 was the conclusion of the Umiya versus Choji fight, which essentially goes down of it's less of the fight and it's more Umiya tells Choji, dude, you're fucked up, you need help. And Choji having a mental breakdown about it. The fight is wild. At one point, he bites Umiya's neck. Dude's crazy. But it ends up where there's a solid resolution of Choji realizing that he is being the worst and needs to fix his life a bit. He realizes that it's not okay how he was acting, how he was treating his gang and his friends. And he realized that Umi is right in that the reason why he's not happy anymore is because he's threatening his friends and not enjoying his time with them. And then episode 10 is kind of a the like main people from the two gangs just have a hangout sesh of just eating food and enjoying and talking about stuff. And we find out like the reason why Umi is so happy that he gives is that he enjoys eating with people, and he has the gang entirely just so that he can enjoy the company of his friends and protect the things that he cares about. And Choji, this really hits him, and he goes, "Oh, right, friends are kind of important." And both him and Joe end up apologizing and like really getting into like, yeah, no, we fucked up real bad. We're sorry about that. We appreciate you knocking some sense into us. And we also get a discussion from afterwards where they go to Kotoha's cafe, they have some food, and Umiya and Sakura have a discussion of Sakura going, I don't know what you're talking about with this conversation thing. I didn't hear anything. And Umiya goes, oh, you're a fucking idiot. No, I'm talking about the fact that there's a body language to it. I didn't explain it well. I'll give you that. But like, by the end of that fight, you wanted to kill Choji for hitting Joe. That tells me that you learned something there and you learned how he is. You wanted to understand him better, and you figured it out. And Sakura went, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? Baka. These two episodes were a little bit slower paced than the last episode that we watched, because episode 8 went absolutely buck wild. But I still really enjoyed them. I think this show's doing what this show does, and I love every second of it. I really enjoy the show. So.
Yeah. I think episode 9 rules. It's a great episode. Lots of really, really wonderful and cool visuals in relation to Choji. It fucking incredible. Like, people who think this show only has its fight choreography are insane.
Yeah, no, this show's really well written.
I think perhaps what I've come to realize, the only thing I don't like about this show is the fucking mid-card sound transition.
Right, because it takes out
The only thing that does not fucking fit this show is the Down on the Bayou ass motherfucking sound clip when they come back from break. Episode 10 is a good it's a perfectly good episode. In all honesty, in all of our episode 10s, it's probably the most comforting episode to watch. It's the least episode that does something to you.
Yeah.
Like, it is,
Yeah.
if you kind of, like, need this episode to sandwich between our other four shows besides it, because, like, oh my god, lots of stuff happens across the other 4 shows.
Yeah.
I think by far my biggest, this show's going to top 3 for me. Absolutely hands down. Because it's majority across the way incredible. Where it's going to wind up in top 3 is absolutely coming to how it sticks at the end of the season landing. We know this, and don't mind me, we know this and Kaiju are getting an additional season, which is great. But Yeah, this and Kaiju will be getting an additional season, which is great, but this still has to stick its landing on this season. And as we know from the opening, it has more characters to introduce. So I'm reserving judgment for when we actually see how the show ends. But that has nothing to do with this. The past 2 weeks, the show's good. I really like it. I really enjoy it. For me, there is like a little bit of like it's tough because I think this show has kept its steam for me, and Girls Band Cry has ramped it up. So for me, those two shows, if those are the two shows in top 3 with Kaiju for me, those two shows are going to be going head to head, unless either of them do something really wild. Because spoiler, I have a favorite show going in the top 3.
Whoa.
Wow.
No way.
Crazy.
Own show bias. No, I'm kidding. It's
A
understandable.
little.
The show's really good.
Other thoughts on Windbreaker?
No, Windbreaker's really good. It's funny action show make my brain go burr.
Oh.
Sometimes it's hashtag deep though.
It's refreshing to have Kodaha back. She's wonderful.
She is.
Yes.
No,
Go.
so-
This show, this show doesn't suffer because it's still really good without her. But oh my god, this show's incredible with her.
I think
Yeah.
part of the reason why this show's so good as well is that it doesn't do the normal like battle show thing of like we're just doing battles. There's not a whole lot of like character development or anything. Like it handles like yeah, fights can handle things, but also you guys have some deep-seated issues you need to fucking work out. Like let's go to therapy, my guy.
Yeah, we gotta go to therapy. Therapy episode.
We did have therapy this episode, and I loved that.
Wait, episode 9, fucking spectacular. That fight was amazing. It was so good. That entire everything.
He bites his jugular.
I'm not even talking about like. It's not even like the actual fight. It's the visual metaphor of Choji being trapped in his own mindscape, breaking through the glass.
Mhm.
Like that whole thing. God, it was so good.
It's
Episode
so
10 was
good.
just episode 10 was nice. It was just a really nice cool down after the intensity that was the last like 5 episodes of this show. The show's
Yeah.
fucking wonderful. This show's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, not much more needs to be said about this show. It's just that good, and I'm excited to see more.
All the
about
people online who say it's bad
episode.
are wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand people that watch this and say it's bad. Like, are they
There
watching
certainly
it?
isn't it's bad crowd. It's mid, but like on Twitter saying something's mid means it's the worst thing you've ever watched.
I don't understand how you can watch this show and like not see like the well-written characters and like the things that aren't going on, that aren't battles going on in it. Like, are you watching the show without sound or subtitles? Like, what's
Maybe.
going
Yes.
on?
Yeah. You're watching it
More than
dubbed
likely,
and
yes.
muted. This dub's also really good. I haven't watched it the past few episodes. I've watched it with other people, and I've been the only one watching this consistently dubbed. But yeah, this dub's good.
Dub's good.
Sakura's, yeah, again, we went over this like 4 or 5 episodes ago. But Sakura's voice is a little strange, but everyone else was like immediately like just yeah, that was exactly
I
the
will
voice I
say-
expected.
His voice is a little strange in the sub too. It's not exactly what you would
Yeah.
expect, and I think that's
But-
very good for the character.
Yeah, Sakura's
Yeah.
also started to to fit better as you got more through
Yes.
the episode. It was just like very much you hear the dub word, you're like, oh, that's the voice they chose to go. with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh wait, no, Sakura's a fucking dingus. This absolutely makes sense. He wouldn't have like Alex Lee Sung Jinwoo voice.
Yeah.
Well, John, Spice and Wolf time.
So in Spice and Wolf over last week's, basically what happens is we finally reach the main city. We find out that what happened is Kraft is looking to sell a bunch of armor, right? That's the whole point. That's his big profit. He took out a big loan for it. Here's the problem. No one wants to buy armor. The expedition got canceled for the first time in ever, and Kraft is now stuck with a bunch of armor that is essentially worthless, as the supply or the demand went infinitely down to 0, basically. So Kraft has 2 days to come up with a ton of money, like 40 geld or whatever it is. He has like 30 cents. And so he goes around town begging for money. Everyone turns him away because he has Hollow with him. Because how dare you put a woman in a situation that's just not right of you as a man. And so, desperate for the money, in the next episode, he apologized to Hollow, and Hollow goes, I got an idea. It's really stupid, but I got an idea. And the plan is to threaten the company that has his loan and say, hey, we know what you're doing. You guys are running out of business. Times are tough for everybody. But if you withhold our debt, we got a plan. And the plan is to use the Shepherd to help smuggle gold across the border. Because gold is not allowed in the church capital because, you know, that's bad. Can't do that. It is, but just only with the church itself.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's super high taxes on it.
And so basically, we'll just smuggle gold in for you and then sell it, make a huge profit, save your company. We get a little bit on the side. We forgive this debt. We call it good. To which the guy, pressured from everything going on and everything, and all the voices around him, goes, "Fine, we'll make this deal. Good luck." Which Kraft and Hollow strike a deal with the Shepherd, who's also like, "Yeah, fuck the church. I need to make some of that dough, baby." Yeah, that's where the episode 10 leaves off.
Yep.
I want to say, good, nice, quick recap. I appreciate it. Undermines how absolutely wonderful the conversation about the misunderstanding of both of their intentions at the end of episode 9 goes for episode 10. Oh my god, these two actually talk like real fucking human beings, and this is wonderful. Because my biggest gripe coming out of episode 9 was that I felt like the blow up at the end of episode 9 about her being with him, that it should not happen. That they have such clear and obvious ways to talk through that, and boy am I so fucking happy that episode 10 just does it. They just don't beat around the bush. The two of them just talk about it. They both have different expectations and outlooks about that scenario, and basically both view themselves as being at fault for it. And they navigate through it fucking perfectly, and it's wonderful, and I adore them. Yeah, I'm really interested in what's going on right now. I think the show's really good. Personally, I think episode 10 this week was better than Yada's. That's me. I'll talk more about it, and that's why that winds up where that is.
That's fair. I was
You're welcome,
blown away.
that's fair.
Yada's twist this episode fucking got me. That's like the big thing. Is Yada's twist was just that. Is that episode 10 Spice was fucking phenomenal. These two characters are so well realized. Okay, they are the most like real characters in like anything. They're just people that just talk.
I mean,
Maybe it's because they're both
one of them's a
old.
wolf god.
Yeah, one of them wolf god, one of them's like.
But like, that's not here nor there.
Yeah.
However old Kraft is, he looks like he's 50.
But he seems more like he's late 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe early 30s, pushing it. Just because of how they talk about him experience-wise in the world. It seems like he's late 20s. Like, he might have got started in like, early to late teens, which is why he has good knowledge and good experience, but he's not that old. An element we didn't talk about is that there's kind of a second reason behind the whole everybody gets mad at him for having Hollow with him, which is not just because, like, oh, you put a woman in the situation. It's also that he's going around begging for money with a woman at his side. So, like, a lot of these people are like, you're gonna come beg for money, but also flaunt that you have an attractive woman with you. What an odd combination to do.
Fuck you.
Do you really need the money? Are you really that down? Like, it kind of compounds the issue that the head of his branch talks to him about, which is people are going to look at this and say you got yourself into this because you made a bad call on the economy. Which, again, I really appreciate the other guy in episode 9 being like, no, you didn't make a bad call on the economy. How the fuck were you supposed to know that the
Only
primary...
God could have predicted the market crash.
Quite literally... The only thing that has sold well in this town for years suddenly does not sell well because... But also, fuck you, because you have a woman with you. But also, I guess, thanks to him for actually saying it, because no one else fucking wanted to, I guess. No, I really like this show.
Yeah.
This
show's good.
This is... What is tough is generally, I think all three of these shows would not be out of place in the top 3. I think they're all good enough to be in the top 3. I think it's just a matter of what they do for each of us in the lead up to the last cutoff week of what decides whether or not they get into top 3 for us. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to table the other show that's really important for this conversation because it's Kaiju time. Yo, shout out, gang! All 4 of our first pick shows made it to final top 3.
Final vote off.
Let's go! Crazy.
We'll take it.
It's been a while. That hasn't
Been a
happened
while.
in a minute.
Yeah, no, normally because
Wait. Yeah. Huh.
In no world did I expect GBC to be getting to a place where it could be in contention for top 3.
Fair. If you told me that at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have believed you.
Michael always believed. He's lying. So let's get into
No.
let's get into.
I was putting it number 1 just 'cause I thought it'd be funny for like a
Yes.
show that was number 1 for 2 weeks right at the beginning of the season to be in the. So what? How many shows got into number 1? You guys have all forgotten about GBC by that point because it would have just been long gone on podcasts.
So, let us get into Kaiju number 8. The base is under attack. A large kaiju is flying in on on fucking pterodactyl kaijus that also explode. They're crazy. They're wild. And so the gang jumps into action. We are limited in the amount of people we have, and so the goal is to get anybody who's not a soldier to safety if they need to be, and also just make sure they don't leave the base. That's the other kind of objective. And kill them, of course. That's always the objective.
Nah, it's just kind of a second here.
And so, Hoshina goes, okay, gang, I'm gonna go deal with the big problem, because, there ain't nobody else here who can deal with this problem but me. And we get some really nice moments in episode 9, of just general good teamwork again. We run through the same stuff that we do with Kafka, where he explains, look, the way you beat down these flying wyverns is by attacking them from the back, but the wyverns seem to be smart enough to have a second wyvern with them. God fucking damn it. A second wyvern with them. Where did it go?
Sean's being attacked by wyverns.
Yes, exactly.
And the wyverns.
Where the fuck did it go? What? So they actually have a hard time flanking and taking them out together. So what they wind up having to do is rely on the world's greatest axe wielder as we get introduced to a prototype weapon in the hands of Shinomiya. Which fucking rules. God, this is sick as shit.
It's so cool.
We get a wonderful scene where she comes in and saves. It's been a while, and I don't remember his name. Ishikawa. At which point she's like, man, this axe is rad and all, but it doesn't fit me at all. And he's like, bull fucking shit it does. This is the most fitting weapon for you I've ever seen. And stereotypes say, true.
True.
In addition to that, the guy, we quite literally get a scene where, in addition to her just plowing through a bunch of these wyverns, the boys just fucking power up and go, fuck you. You think you're the only one who can do that? We're just gonna shoot through 2 wyverns. Fuck you. We can do this too. And we get a lot of really rad characterization, for not as strong characters, which is really nice. We also then get, a scene where Kafka goes and helps with evacuating the injured. We meet back up with the girl who hangs around Shinomiya and the other really big blue-hair girl who we don't have names for, and he saves her by slightly altering part of his body into kaiju to do it. And then largely the rest of this episode is focused on or Vice Captain fighting this big bad, this other humanoid-esque kaiju. Where he winds up basically leading him into the training ground area so that he can keep him away from everybody else, because this is gonna be a bad fight. And that leads us into episode 10, which is predominantly Hoshina kicking this thing's ass in until it doesn't. So he does a pretty good job of handling it, because it is a human-sized kaiju, which is in his area of expertise, until it grows. At which point
Until
then...
it isn't.
Yeah, until it isn't. And then he has a hard time cutting through it at all, but we get a lot of really cool Hoshina backstory stuff about how his family, didn't expect him to go far because swords in modern society do not do as well as they traditionally do, especially with smaller kaijus not appearing as often anymore. The size of kaijus is going up, so using swords to cut through them are not good.
Kind of cringe.
Mina looks at him and goes, no. I'll handle the big kaijus. We don't gotta worry about those. I will handle the big kaijus, no problem. You are exactly what I need as my vice captain, because I'm not good at handling the small kaijus. And we just get some generally really good scenes relating to Hoshina. But as I said, things are starting to go poorly. However, he buys enough time. One, Kafka is on his way. He's getting ready to transform, jump on in there, reveal to the world that he is Kaiju number 8. That won't be good. That would be terrible. But thankfully, Mina shows up and blows this thing to shit. Or starts to. We had a really great scene of her tiger, being used for recoil, which is rad as fuck.
Yeah.
And then we have, and then Shinomiya and Hoshina join together to help weaken it. Weaken Kaiju number 10, as they dub him. So that Mina can just finally take him out. And all seems to be good, all seems to be well. They have taken care of the threat, except all of the wyverns are gathering in the sky in one giant big ball of explosive nuke. And no one really knows what to do, except for Kafka, who goes kaiju mode, fucking pushes it into the stratosphere, and an Iron Man falls into the ground, to which everyone goes, I'm sorry, you're what? Under arrest? Yeah, I think that's what you are. You're under arrest.
Being taken into custody?
This scene is rad as fuck. The entire end of this episode is so fucking cool. Michael and I talked about something while we watched this, which is, I had been curious about this, in general, about whether the show was going to adapt parts of the side story stuff, since that technically started later. The answer is yes, because Michael confirmed that some of the stuff in this episode, he did not recall being in the original manga, and then he checked, and it was...
It's been a while since I haven't read the original manga in a while. But the scene where Hoshina, where Mina goes, "Hey, I need you on my team," is in the B-sides. Like, that's in chapter 1 of B-side.
Okay.
Again, that might just be a part of the original. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, so
it was like 2 years ago when I read this portion of the manga.
So we cliffhanger on our boy being arrested. We also do learn that the weapon that Shinomiya has is made from a kaiju previously. They detailed the incident where it happened a little bit and said that it's made kind of with the properties of and elements of that kaiju. She got a big ol' axe.
Kaiju weapons are crazy.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did it go?
So I have this at number 1. I think this show's rad as hell.
Yeah.
It's still, for me, I think it's just because, like, episode 10 was so good. I'm still kind of on I think Windbreaker is the best show here. But I think this week Kaiju just took it for me. Episode 10 was so fucking good. Just as a whole, the entire way through, that episode was incredible.
Yeah, no, the episode was absolutely fucking nuts. Like, the part where he just, like, he kicks in the sky, he falls back down, and then it still has just enough energy to just stand there and shield all the other allies of his from this explosion and, like, the backlash, but also just, like, standing there, you could see, like, you could feel, like, that vibe of just, like, I know I fucked up, but I had to save everyone here. Mm-hmm. And he knows that his life is basically over, right? Like, he knows that, like, what he wanted to do, his dream, everything, it's done now. It's over. There's nothing he can do. Yeah, it's just such a sick scene, dude. Like, I can't stress enough how awesome this manga, this anime is for the show. It's so cool.
His face of the kaiju part of his face wearing off is so good.
Yeah, it's sick. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how much I could really get. The story's just fucking rad. The scene, these episodes were animated phenomenally. The characters are great. I love the story. The story's great.
It's so good, man. Plus, like, Hoshino's just such a badass. Like, dude really just said, they said, man, you suck with guns, and that's just honestly the meta now. So, like, your sword shit, kind of cringe. And he just went, bet I want to be a ninja.
It is wild to me. Also, I said this when I watched it. If you had asked me whether I thought Kafka would get exposed as Kaiju number 8 first, or somebody important in the cast would die first, I would have gone with the latter.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I can't believe
happens
this
out of
cast,
nowhere.
I can't believe this cast is alive. I can't believe all these characters are still alive.
Yeah,
Actually, crazy that they're all alive right now.
Because this was a show that I walked into and I was like, this feels like it's not going to be afraid to kill characters like JJK and Chainsaw Man. Like, you're
Yep.
gonna have cast, you're gonna like them, and because of the stakes of the show, you're gonna lose them. It's not a bad thing they don't, because realistically, I believe that, it's not unbelievable that everybody gets out okay in the past couple episodes, right? Like, nothing has been a stretch yet, given the amount of technology and stuff the show has. Dude, where the fuck did it... It is more concerning that I can't find this bug than that there was a bug. Like, honestly, if I saw it and it was just vibing, that'd be different. The fact that I can't find it is the concern.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Always is. Let's get in to a fun conversation. Yada time.
so Yagarasu, I'm gonna be really honest, I don't remember a whole lot of episode 9 because I watched that like over 2 weeks ago now.
All this shit just happens in the
It's
fucking
the
palace.
episode. You get the,
It's
we,
like-
get the we predominantly are in the palace for most of the episode, and
Yeah,
we get
so
the
it's
reveals. We get the reveals
for-
about the two members of the houses.
Yeah, so basically that is the episode where we continue on and like find out more about Hamayu,
Mhm.
where it turns out that her parents were part of the plot to assassinate Wakamiya's mom and did do so. And she was stripped of her rank, she was thrown in the mines essentially. And then years later, her uncle ended up like chance meeting her, and she ended up getting brought back into the family, and is now being used by them to as essentially the plan is for her to assassinate Wakamiya, the prince. And she's not really into that, so she tells everyone this after being kind of outed by the northern princess, Shiratama, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, Shiratama. And then she just pieces out, just leaves. There's a little bit with the prince in that episode, but not a whole lot. It's basically just him, like, he talks with Yukiya a bit, because he's gone at the Southern House, like, talking to the daughter and the current daughter and finding out, yeah, no, there was an assassination plot for you. I'm not going because I don't want to do that. And also, like, I'm supposed to marry Natsuko when he eventually takes over after you're killed. Yukiya comes in and lets him know, hey, shit's fucked at the palace. Samamo died. Hami left. Like, you gotta get back, dude. And then episode 10, we start off where Atsufusa, the aide to Natsuka, is telling him, like, hey, don't, like, get rid of Rokan, because he just wants the glory of being your, like, bodyguard and, like, the champion of the soon-to-be Kinu. He's not good for everyone. Like, he's a brute. He kills people willy-nilly. Like, don't keep him around. And then as he's leaving, Rokan almost kills him. Just slashes the shit out of him and nearly kills him. And he runs away. Wakamiya gets notice that he's dying in the red light district. He manages to get far enough to, like, get patched up a bit. And gets a message that Atsufusa wants to see him and, like, needs to tell him something. So they go to see him, and Atsufusa is, like, laying there, like, bleeding out. And it's like, look, I just want you to promise me that you're going to take care of Natsuko once you're the emperor. Like, if you can promise me that, I'll tell you the true, like, who your true foe is. He's like, I'm gonna do that either way. What are you talking about? And he goes, okay, your true foe is, and then dies. And then it turns out the incense in the room was actually it was poison, and it basically knocks Sumio and Wakamiya out. Yukiya is outside of the room, just like standing guard essentially. And it turns out Asafusa has actually been a two-timing bastard this whole time, and is attempting to assassinate the prince right here and now. And right as he's about to do it, they're like, the guys, like the ninjas that are there to like help assist in killing him. Asafusa is like, "Hey, wait, where's that kid at?" And they're like, "What kid?" And he's like, "You fucking morons, go find him or we're fucked." There's a chase sequence of Yukiya getting away from them, and it ends up where he's running down these tunnels that we've used in the past, trying to get away from them. And he's like, okay, I know he has other allies. Who the fuck is it? Because I specifically told them not to tell me before because I didn't want to know, because then I would be at risk. I'm regretting that one now, but gotta figure it out. We cut back to Asafusa's about to kill Wakamiya, and he wakes up and starts fighting everyone off. He's still a bit shaky from the incense, but he's holding his own. And during this fight, he's about to get killed, and suddenly the guy that's about to kill him gets his head knocked off. Just full clean cut off. Like, what's going on here? And we find out that this whole time, Natsuka and him have actually been allied. And the entire idea was that Natsuka was pulling all of his enemies away and keeping track of them so that they could know when assassination attempts were coming, so that he could be safe. Natsuka's never actually not been on his side. He was doing all of this just to keep him safe. And Rokon is the one who killed the guy and saved Wakami. And we have a discussion afterwards of, hey, Yukiya, you're sick because you figured this out and you had no idea. How'd you do it? And he went, well, when you guys were talking before, Prince had said, like, oh yeah, you don't want to go to that monastery, right? Like, you better do a good job. And that tipped him off of, he wouldn't know that, and he definitely wouldn't know that I wouldn't want to go there, because most northern people would want to go there. It's like a sign of like you're doing well, and you're like, it's an honor. So me not wanting to go is weird. The only people that would know that are people from the Northern House, who they wouldn't be talking about that, and you. So that's how I figured it out. Natsuka ends up asking him to stay as his aide for longer than the year and like be his aide, and he goes, "Oh, I get it. You didn't want me. You wanted someone from the Northern House. That's all it was," and runs off. And Wakamiya is like, looks ashamed, and that's kind of where we end the episode. I have it at 3 because this reveal was fucking crazy.
It was so good.
Because it does it so well of, in my opinion, of it leaves all the trails for you. You can figure it out if you need, like if you really think about it, but it comes out of left field in a way where, oh no, I should have gotten that, but it hides it. I think it's a very good twist, in my opinion.
I'd agree. I think it's a really, really good twist for the show. I didn't like him like walking up and like, oh, you just want me for my status, and then no one just says anything, because it was something that didn't even need to be said to begin with, because it was the prince's brother that gives it away.
I think that's part of it, right? Is that him and Rokon like accidentally stumble into it, not realizing that saying it's actually bad. Helpful. Whereas like Wakamiya knows, like he hasn't said it because it's not true, and there's no point to bring it up. Bringing it up will only cause problems, which is why he's been avoiding it. Whereas,
and he specifically tells them to stop, and they don't.
Like, I think something that is really good, that's really cool about that scene, is that by their, like, body language, you can tell that Rokon and Wakamiya's brother, Natsufa, Natsuka realize they fuck up. They're like, oh, we shouldn't have said that.
Oh, we're fucking
They're
stupid.
like,
Why did they do
"Whoopsie.
that?
We didn't know he would take it that way. That wasn't what we meant." Because I
Whoopsie
also
poopsie.
don't think that's what they meant. I think they
No.
legitimately like, if you're concerned about it being a status thing, we know that's not the case. No one else
Yeah.
has to know. But
There's also like I like this episode a lot too because it changes that conversation that Yuki and Rokon had the other week, like a couple episodes ago, where it's him going, "Hey, why don't you join Natsuka?" It's entirely not for "I want you to join Natsuka." It was a trust thing, which I think is really cool.
so, I don't want to be the guy. When we it was like episode 4 or 5 when they do the scene in the palace where he said swear fealty to me and he does. I said in that scene, I don't think Natsuka's a bad guy.
No,
Because
I never thought he was either.
in my opinion, the bigger swerve on this
Felt
reveal
super
is the
forced.
dynamics of Rokon and Atsufutsa.
Yeah,
Is that like they play their role so well and hide it so well that like the execution of this is done really well in my opinion. I think for me, my biggest gripe with the episode is that like I think there are enough other things that point to this that like the draw on him going to the monastery is like a weird thing for me. It makes sense for his character. I think it's just that like I didn't piece it together through that, so it's weird for that to be the thing given in the moment. Push comes to shove, I still really like this show. This is still a really good episode. It really is just out of the line I liked everything else better. Like, I don't think this show is bad. I don't think anything in this episode is handled poorly. I just think perhaps my enjoyment of it is not as high because I wasn't caught as off guard.
Fair.
And like, I don't know. I like the episode still. I'm probably still gonna finish this show because I think it's cool.
yeah.
It's 20
Fair.
episodes, so we'll see if I manage to stick to that because that's more of the challenge than anything.
Fair.
Michael?
Michael.
This show's really cool. Again, episode 9 was whatever. There's more palace stuff. That was some cool reveals there. Reveals in quotation marks because who knows how real any of it fucking is.
Yeah.
They'll get back to that eventually. Episode 10 was sick. I think the reveal was so cool, so well done. Yeah, I think the scene they chose specifically to be like, how did you know this scene? I go, okay. I mean, I guess, but okay.
'Cause
That's where he's pulling it from.
I think it also relies on you remembering that he is there in that scene, which, like, I forgot
yeah,
he
the
was
issues.
there
Yeah,
in
also
that scene.
there's so much of the show I just don't remember happening.
This show's dense.
A lot happens in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the reveal was fucking sick. When you see Rokon's like the lower part of his garb in like the scene, like as he's like blocking the
Yeah.
attack that's about to get the prince, you're like, wait, that's him? Oh shit!
What I also think is like really cool about this retroactively is that like, and again, this is what I meant by, to me there are so many other things that once you know this, like if you thought about it, you could get to the conclusion. He sends Yuki to the brothel to spy on them, to show him what Rokon does for him, for Natsuka, that he finds people who act out of line and are specifically targeting the prince, and he kills them. And regularly, what a very fucking risky and, like, not, like, well thought out plan to do, but we know that the prince does everything very calculated. So he sends him there with a purpose, to confirm who the assassins were, without having to send someone from Natsuka's side to them to do that. So he can send his own person in to get the information, and he can show Yukiya how that works without flat out telling him. And that is such a cool dynamic in relation to that scene.
I think for the reveal thing as well. I know this is
Yeah.
doing a slight tangent. For me, when I was watching this episode, he's doing the bit in the well, Yuki is in the tunnels, and he's doing the bit of like, okay, who is it? Who is it? And I got to the point of he's like doing the remembering of like what Wakami is saying, and I'm like, fuck with me, it's fucking Rokon. I had the like aha moment to it, and I didn't even think about Natsuka. I thought Rokon for a second was like a double agent or something. So having that reveal and like I got to have the aha moment, I think for me just like it brought the elevated it a little bit as well. So
it could be that I watched this very, very, very much almost quickly after having woken up. So my brain was like, yeah, it's Natsuka. I was like, yeah, I know this. Crazy. Wild. Good execution, though. Like, I don't know. It's, again, though, I still really like this show. It's just, if you had a gun to my head, I don't know if I think, overall, this show makes top 3 for me. Like, there are a lot, like, it has been building and getting better. Absolutely. I don't think any of our other shows have been getting worse, and that's part of the problem with when a show is getting better on a format like this podcast, is like, this and Spice and Wolf have both had really wonderful episodes the past couple of weeks, and have been getting better and better as we go on, but overall, the other shows have stayed consistent. And again, Girls Band Cry is probably the closest, because there have been episodes of Girls Band Cry that I haven't been as big of a fan on, but I also have really liked the last couple episodes of Girls Band Cry personally. So that's what makes it so difficult in relation to this last vote.
If Sean eventually posts the last vote.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Hey,
That's
so
why
the
I
thing
turned
for
it
me
this way.
is that these shows exist in 3 groups for me. There's Girls Band Cry, which exists in its own realm, separate from everything. There's Windbreaker and Kaiju, which I think are just leagues above these other two. Instead of just everything they've delivered. And then there's the other two down there, which is kind of my problem. Is that if Girls Band Cry wasn't the thing that it is for me, this would be a much like different set of choices.
So what it is for me is that, like, also, like, you have 5 shows that are really good, that you really like, that are all doing the right thing to get into top 3. So what are the things you have to look at to separate them and put them apart? And for me, in my head, Kaiju, Girls Band Cry, and Windbreaker all excel at looking incredibly pretty, sounding incredibly pretty, having characters I really enjoy, having had really high moments throughout the season that have, like, really hit me. Like, I think legitimately, if I go back and look, all, like, of the 5 shows we have, Yada and Spice and Wolf have never hit a 10 on an episode for me. And that's objectively not, like, necessarily a fair thing to do, because not everybody feels like, but if I equate that number that I put on a document to tell me how much I really liked an episode, like, I know that Girls Band Cry, Windbreaker, and Kaiju have all hit one of those super high moments for me. Which is, like, on top of having, like, and I don't just mean that, like, oh, the OST and places are good. I think all 3 of those shows have stellar OSTs the entire way through. They really, really stand out in my brain and go, like, an extra step. Like, Spice and Wolf and Yada's OSTs are great. They fit the shows really well. But to me, they don't do that little extra. And those are, like, the things I have to think about going into the final vote. Is, like, the little extra stuff that pushes the stuff into top 3.
Fair.
There is arguably another conversation to be had of, like, do you look at it as, what show do you think is going to have the best final performance? Because that show should get into top 3 because you're expecting it to stick the landing the best. In which case, boy, would I vote really, really differently here, I think. Because my expectations a little skewed, I think, in the final lead-up. Like, Spice and Wolf and Yada maybe have stronger pushes for those kind of endings.
We're also not reaching the ending of them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have something very interesting that has happened. One, Windbreaker and Kaiju have full saves. Now I'm gonna consult with the boys, of course, but I look at this voting sheet, and the thing that I see is that Spice and Wolf has 3 slaves, which to me tells me that is going off for sure.
Yes.
That is a fair call to make. It has 3. The other 2 shows, Yada and Girls Band Cry, both have 2. So
Yes.
I think it is fair to say one of those vote offs is for sure Spice and Wolf. We now have to decide the other one. This is honestly, this is ideal scenario for me, because
I
I don't
got
know.
you, Sean.
I don't know if I could pick what I necessarily think should get here, and I don't think I'm upset if either of these personally goes off. I obviously have a preference, but I think as a majority podcast, this is definitely not something we were gonna get a straight, very clear, concise answer on. I'm honestly surprised we have at least one clear, concise vote off.
I figured that Spice and Wolf was going to be clear since it was in the bottom 4 for
Yeah, I figured all
everyone.
3 of you guys were gonna
Yeah.
vote it. That's fine.
I really like
it
it.
lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, to be honest. So I'm kind of happy with it.
So I pulled up the wheel, and I want you to know the last wheel that we had
Hey Mason,
was
hear me out.
I
Perhaps
know.
maybe you shouldn't pull up the wheel.
fair, but I did want to let you guys know the last wheel that we had was unnamed
You got it, Sean. You
memory,
want me
Yeah,
to?
it was
mysterious disappearances, and Yada.
it was
Week
the
1.
first wheel. Yeah,
It was the first week, the
only
first
wheel.
and
Yeah.
And
Well, you gotta
Yada
be the
was
first
in.
show to survive 2
no matter
wheels.
what, I'm very proud of the fact that my show survived the wheel and then proceeded to go this far.
I mean,
Even
this
if
would be the 1st
I'm honest
time.
proud of all of us. We got all 4 of our number 1 shows in top 3. Vote
Yeah.
off. Like, we'll take it.
You are never gonna
Yeah.
get all 3 in top 3. It doesn't
Can't
work
complain.
that way. Objectively, not how that works, right? So,
But
who's bringing it up?
I mean,
I thought you were typing, so I thought you were, but I can do it.
Oh, I just put the current topic as the wheel.
The wheel.
I usually don't like doing it.
Oh, you guys want to hear what mine is?
Oh,
oh boy,
My last wheel of names, mind you, I've not won in a couple seasons, has Mashal, Skippin' Loafer, and Dead Mount Deathplay.
oh
Hey,
my
you know what's funny?
God.
I don't know how we got into a wheel with this.
What win? Was that Skippin'? That would have been Skippin' Loafer then.
Skip and Loafer went off that
Gone
week
off on that.
because
for
Skip
sure.
and Loafer went off at 6, and then 5 was Mashal, 4 was
Those are good,
Since you can't see it, the other one says girls band cry and then band and then cry and then band.
Yeah, it's good. I like both of those.
All right.
You can see it in the sidebar.
So the one that gets picked gets shot, right?
Yes.
yes.
The one it lands on goes.
Discord, what the hell?
You guys ready?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Bud.
Are you ready, Mason?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be close.
It's
Oh.
goodbye.
Yeah, it's Girls Band Cry. That's. It happens.
Yamateratsu lives 2 times this season on the
Yeah,
wheel.
gotta
Once
hurt.
in the first episode and once in the last possible episode before the final 3.
I would like to remind everybody the show is actually called Yatagarasu.
No,
Ravens
Yamateratsu.
Massachusetts.
As in, you know, the term for a raven, a particular raven from mythology.
No, that was way funnier. That was way funnier.
The Yada lock has won.
Yeah.
The Yada lock happened.
Yada will be an interesting show because I assume we're going to 13.
I would imagine we'll see how it goes with 12, but we'll see.
I would imagine, because what, we have 12 and 12? Or is
I believe Windbreaker's 13, but I could be wrong.
12 for Kaiju, 13 for Windbreaker, yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be whatever we feel.
Is a good stopping point.
So whichever one of us watches Yada first, probably Mason,
Probably me.
will let us know. Yeah, no, again, I can't understate how killer of a top 5 this is.
Yeah. Like, we we threw around the idea of doing a big finale.
And by we
because
threw
of-
around, I mean I pitched it to Mason.
I mean,
only.
Sean threw
was
it,
gonna-
threw it to me because
I told Michael, I think.
personal stuff was potentially going to get in the way of this episode. I was not going to let that happen, so I did want to do this episode. But I wouldn't have been mad to do the five finale and go from there. But
I would have been a little mad. I'm busy.
Yeah, that's the only
Fair.
problem is when you think
It's
about
like
it, that's a
eight-
lot of
like-
shows to watch.
It's like at
it's
least
15 episodes functionally at least.
well, it's at least 10, and then
Girls
some of
Band
them
Cry
have
is
3.
Girls Band Cry would go to 13, so 11,
Kaiju's
13. Kaiju's 12, so it's 2 more.
It would've
Windbreaker's
been
3,
5, and then
and
38.
then Yada,
14.
and then Yada, Spice, and Wolf is 6 more, so 8 plus 6, 14, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been 14.
I'm
Mason-
assuming
Mason
we're
on
going to
that quick
13 on
math.
Spice and Wolf versus 12 on Spice and Wolf because you don't know if it's the half or not.
Yeah, but I mean, same with Yada. But you know, generous. You're looking at 12 or 14 episodes, which is a crazy task. But the idea would
A
be
lot
that
of
we would have some time to do it if we did it like that. Which, to be fair, ideally we'd be shooting for sometime next week. Things might change. Mason will have to
We'll see
keep us
how that-
posted. You know, there are legitimate things that might get in
Yeah.
the way of that. Also, ideally, for those who don't know, we would almost assuredly be after the conclusion of the final episode doing picks for summer, because if we're doing summer, we got to do the picks now. As soon as the last week hits, because we gotta know what we're watching so that people can get on it as soon as possible because stuff's already coming out.
Yeah.
We will
Go watch
we will-
Oshinoko season 2.
we will pick for summer, we will try to watch for summer, and we will do our best to do a summer season. Because, fun fact, we have not done a summer season for the past 2 seasons. Fun
I'm
fact,
trying to.
the season...
Even inconsistent podcasters who try to stream weekly but fail at streaming weekly like their summer breaks.
What is even crazier to think about is that we have not done summer for the past 2 seasons. We did that, the season we did do, we had 2 podcasts for it, and the season before that, we did not do summer either because of COVID.
Do you think that like a lot of times
So-
why like it seems
Yeah.
like the lists in summer are a lot lacking is because A, the weather's nice so people want to like do stuff, and B, they think that there's gonna be less viewer retention, so they put all the shitters out during the summer season so that way and like the sequels. And so it's like if you're inside watching anime, watch the shows you know, but if not, yeah, it's cool. We'll see you in the fall.
What I'll say is that summer is a very interesting season usually. It's usually either there's usually a lot more garbage on our podcast, which is fun in its own way, or stuff is a lot more back and forth towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Last summer that we did, I believe was Vanitas.
It was Vanitas Sunny Boy ranking. Or not ranking. Vanitas Sunny Boy here, Realist Hero.
Yeah. Which there was a lot of other stuff in that season. There was also a lot of garbage in that season, like Battle Game.
Battle Game.
There's lots of stuff.
Remain.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Remain
I'm
was
gonna,
so good until it wasn't.
So I'm gonna. I have a little thing that I've talked to Michael about real quick before we sign off for the night, which is, there is a show that is rightfully probably the show I should first pick because it is a fantasy show and arguably the fantasy show of the season. So I should first pick Wistoria, Wand and Sword. That is something that's been apparent to Michael and Mason as I've talked about this. Is what's Sean gonna first pick? Wistoria. I have revealed to them that there is another show I want to pick, and I have not told them what it is.
we're trying to figure it out.
And I'm gonna give a hint, in that I'm gonna give I'm gonna give an anime and a manga that have something in common with the show I want to pick, and I'm gonna try to see if you can figure it out. And
Okay.
and this is gonna be really fun. It works to call it. I say anime manga because one of these doesn't have an anime yet. So the two animes that I'm gonna pick, to let you know that they share something in common with this show, is Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens and Marriage Toxin. I'm gonna let you try to figure out.
Okay. Okay. I
You know-
I know what thing.
you
I
know
know
what
the
it is?
connection. I can maybe guess the connection. But I don't know what anime. I have to look at the anime.
The
for
funny
next
thing
season.
is that Marriage Toxin and Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens have more than one thing in common, which is very
There's one thing that immediately stands out for me.
I don't know like hardly anything about Tonkotsu Ramens. But
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that can help you solve the riddle. I had another show I was gonna throw in, but I don't know if the connecting piece is the right way to describe the thing in the other show.
I think I know what it
Which
is,
is what
though.
was making me hold off using the other one. But I had another one in mind I was gonna use for it too.
I'm fairly certain I know what show you're planning on now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll message you.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Maybe next week. If not, we'll keep you up to date on when exactly it might be. But we will be doing our finale, where we will watch the remaining episodes, most likely to 13, for Yatagarasu.